I've come out here today because the last video I made, I promised you a decent update. Well, this is it. I'm actually on an airfield on the East Rand, very close to me. I actually work here. As you know, I'm in the aviation industry, and I work from the airfield here. So I've come out to the backside where it looks like I'm in the bush and I'm nowhere near civilization, but I'm actually only about 4 kilometers from my house and on an airfield. So excuse any noise if you perhaps hear an aircraft taking off or coming into land. That's what it is here. But as you can see, the biggest update is the drawers. Now, they were put on the back burner for quite a while I finished off the roof console with all the radios, and I'm going to show you something there in a minute. But I finally got around to having these drawers cut and bent by somebody else. They did a very nice job, and then I took them to somebody else to have the ends welded in, and he did a fantastic job too. But I learned a valuable lesson doing these things. As I said before, I'm neither a welder, I'm neither a draftsman or a sheet metal worker. So I had the sheet metal cut and bent by somebody else because I simply don't have the tools to do that. And but I did the framework myself. I welded that, cut and welded that myself. But I got somebody. I'm not. Although I do have a welder that can weld aluminium, I don't have. Well, I'm not confident enough in my. Wasn't confident enough in my skills to weld aluminium. So I got somebody else who does to weld the ends in for me. He did a very nice job. But when I brought the drawers home and I tried to fit them, I discovered that things don't always go according to plan. When you weld on square tubing like this happens to be stainless steel square tubing, it warps. Also, the guy that cut and bent it, although he did a fantastic job, you know, there's always a slight tolerance of a millimeter this way or that way. And when I came to putting the drawers into the frame, I found they didn't fit. Now, I had to buy 2 full sheets of aluminium to make these 3 drawers. I've got quite a big cut-off left, but I had to buy 2 full sheets. So it was quite an expensive exercise to get these drawers made. And I did not want to waste them because I'd probably have to go and buy a full sheet to make another set of drawers, plus get them cut and bent and have somebody weld them. So I decided to try and salvage them. They were too wide. So what I did was I took my table saw, and my son helped me, and we shoved the drawers through the table saw and I split them right down the center. Well, not necessarily the center, I just split them in half into two halves. I took off the extra material until they fitted nicely, and then I tacked them together with my welder, and then I attempted to weld them together myself, and I actually surprised myself. I didn't do too bad a job. As you can see, there's a weld down the middle of each drawer. I will give you a close-up of that in a second. But on the third drawer, when I got around to the third drawer, my son wasn't around to help me, so I tried to do the job by myself. And unfortunately, when you're cutting aluminium with a table saw like that, or with any kind of saw, power saw, lubrication is a very important issue. And I didn't lube the saw, and as I was cutting, it was packing on, the aluminium was packing on the teeth of the saw, and as I came out, it grabbed, and as you can see here, there's a big mound of welding there, which I actually managed to weld up. The saw ripped the corner out of there, and I actually sprained my thumb at the same time. But anyway, the drawers are working now. As you can see, I've still got to do the handles and everything else, but the drawers work perfectly, 100%, each one of them. So they're going to get a face onto them now with some kind of a latching system to close them up. The next step is, in this gap up top is going to be a table that folds up and slips in there. The fridge slider is finished. I just need to weld some little rings that locate the feet, and then I can tie it down and the fridge is not going anywhere. And then a while ago I did a video on a set of wheels that I've been collecting. I collected 6 of them, and I said that I was going to have them reconditioned, powder coated and done up very nicely. I'm now going to show you, I've had that done, I'm now going to show you what they look like. I am super excited about this. Unfortunately, they're going to have to sit in the corner for a while while I save up some money for a set of tires for them. I need 6 tires, and it's going to cost me a bucket full of money, which I don't have right now, and I will explain to you part of the reason why I don't in the video after this. But I'm going to stop this now, and then I'm going to get back to you and show you how these wheels came out. Here we have one of the 6 wheels. I brought it with me to show you. I will pick this up and I will take it closer to give you a nice close-up of it. I think they came out absolutely gorgeous. There was a little bit of a mix-up in what I wanted in a color scheme, which I will explain to you in a second. But when I got them back the first time, they were done exactly like this, except this very fine ring here was not done silver, and that was part of the plan. I wanted them silver. So I have to give a huge shout out to Sean at Tiger Wheel and Tire in Greenstone. I believe he's now moved to another branch, but Sean at Tiger Wheel and Tire Greenstone was an absolute hero as far as these rims were concerned. When I got them back and I noticed the difference, nobody else had noticed the mistake, and when I pointed it out to him, he said not a problem, sent them back, and within a week I had them back all redone, completely redone, and I think they came out absolutely fantastic. Now, this is the second time that I have dealt with Tiger Wheel and Tire as far as this car is concerned. I will tell you about the first time in another video, but I have to, you know, I've tried with this car to keep everything small, to do as much as I can myself, and work that I need to farm out where I don't have the tools and that I try and farm out to the smaller guys, like the guys who cut and bent my drawers and the guy who welded them. Unfortunately, when it comes to powder coating and that, I just can't do that myself. So I took it to Tiger Wheel and Tire. Now obviously Tiger Wheel and Tire don't do the work themselves, they farm it out to somebody else. But I have to give a shout out to Sean at Tiger Wheel and Tire, as well as Tiger Wheel and Tire themselves. As I said, this is the second time that I've dealt with them, and I've got nothing but absolutely first class service from them. So very, very good show to Tiger Wheel and Tire, as well as Sean at Tiger Wheel and Tire. I believe he's now moved. I'm not sure where he is now. I can't remember. He did send me a message and tell me, but I just can't remember the branch. If anybody needs to know, deal with Sean at Tiger Wheel and Tire. He will sort you out. This is my set of rims that I will be putting onto the car eventually. They will get a set of 12.5-inch wide tires onto them, hopefully a nice good quality set of tires. But that is the update on this side as far as this is concerned, the draw system, my wheels, and now I'm going to show you what I've done on the communication side. Right, I'm at the front of the car now, the business end of the car, and as you can see, I have now installed a number of antennas on the car. First of all, this one is my UHF VHF dual band antenna. That is this is probably going to be one of, or the most important antenna for the time being. This will go to my Yaesu, I think it's an 857 multi-band radio. In the corner there is probably the one that I will be playing with the most. What you see there is an old Hirschman antenna it actually came off my dad's deep sea ski boat that he put on his boat when he built it. Must be close to 40 years ago. But that antenna was the antenna to have when CBs were in their heyday. Now I have got a Cobra 148 GTL Citizen Band or CB radio in the car. It's not in the car at the moment. I've actually had the roof console in, and I've had some temporary connections, tested the radios, and everything seems to be working fine. But now I've taken it out again because I want to install some circuit breakers, some USB chargers, 1 or 2 more lights, and a cooling fan to cool the whole lot in there. As you know, I've got 3 radios in that box, plus an antenna tuner. There will be USBs. There's going to be a bit of a heat generator there, especially if I use the 857 on HF, which I'll get to in a second. That can produce up to 100 watts and draw 22 amps of power. So the radio is capable of producing a bit of heat. I need to cool it. Getting back to the CB antenna, as I said, that came off my dad's ski boat, and he had it tuned to 29 megahertz, which was those days the frequencies used by the ski boats going out to sea every weekend and communicating with each other, as well as the clubhouse and NSRI and everything else. I've repurposed this antenna. Now it must be close to 40 years old, and I'm actually very proud to have this antenna back on my car. And I haven't retuned it yet, but I'm going to be retuning it to 27 megahertz for citizen band radio. Now, talking about citizen band radio, years ago when I was a real youngster, probably maybe 10 years old, 12 years old, I don't know, somewhere around there, my uncle used to be very keen on the old Scope magazine. Now, only the older guys will remember what a Scope magazine was. It was the girly magazine of the day, and those days the centerfold used to have this beautiful woman, and with all the little stars strategically placed. You never saw any nudes or anything like that those days. But my uncle used to buy these things religiously once a week, or however often they came out, and eventually they would end up at my parents' place. Probably my dad read them, I don't know, but they were actually very nice magazines, some very nice articles in them. And I remember as a youngster paging through one of these, and Scope, I don't know if it was Scope magazine or somebody advertising in Scope magazine, but they were running a competition. You could win a brand new gold-plated Cobra 148 GTL citizen band or CB radio. There was a beautiful picture of it switched on with the channel display switched on and the signal strength meter, the light on, and this thing was shiny gold. It was beautiful. I can remember staring at this photograph and drooling over it. And those days a Cobra 148 GTL was an expensive radio, but I always said I'd love to have one of those one day. And I'm quite keen on radio communications. I played with CBs as an adult before, and I decided when I built my roof console, I'm going to have a citizen band radio. Contrary to what most people believe, CB radio is still alive. There you can turn on a CB radio and you won't hear people shouting over each other like you used to in the late 70s and 80s, but you will still hear people on the CB. There are some dedicated CBers and they are trying to revive it. And one of the reasons why I decided to put it in the car is, as you know, I'm also a little bit of a prepper, and I decided, if the day happens when the SHTF in the country and I need to either move or get in the car and get out of a dangerous area, and that the citizen band radio is going to be one of my assets, which is one of the reasons why I built this whole communication center with the multi-band radio and everything else. As I said, I've still got to tune the antenna to 27 megs, to the CB, so I haven't used it, I haven't transmitted yet, but I have received on it. It needs to be made a little bit longer to be tuned for 27 megs. Then the third antenna I have on here at the moment, that is the antenna that will be for the third radio, which I'm not going to discuss. It's a radio that will be used purely in absolute life and death emergency situation, otherwise it will never be used. I will test it now and again and make sure it works, but it will sit there and do nothing basically. And then we have the fourth antenna, which is not on the car yet, I don't have it yet, is the HF antenna. Now the HF antenna is going to be positioned somehow right on this corner. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, because it's going to get in the way of the headlight if I put it here in basically the only space available for it. But it is a hell of a big whip. It is long. It's probably nearly as long as my car, if not as long as the car. So it will also live basically bent over and hooked underneath the awning on the side, and it will live there. Also not needed until the day I need it, put it that way. But for the time being, my communication center, whenever I'm in the car, my CB radio will be turned on. That will be my toy, and that's going to be my entertainment on the roads, because there are people on the roads and scattered here and there that will be able to talk to me. Now, all the coaxes, I pull them up through the A-pillars of the car. I've got two coaxes going up this side, two coaxes plus a power supply from the batteries going up that way to the roof console inside. Now, I don't know if you can see through the car here, all the cables are hanging down from where the interior light normally sits, and they all need to be terminated properly, and an Anderson plug put on the power supply lead so that I can just plug it into the roof console. So, you know, it's going to be a removable thing. If I ever need to work on it, I just loosen it from the roof, unplug it and take it away. All the antenna leads will be obviously be able to disconnect from the radios and the power supply, and I'll just take it away and work on it and put it back when I need it. That pretty much sums up the update that I had for you. So it's the drawer system is almost finished. I just need to cover it now with some plywood and carpeting, put some faces on the drawers and some handles, and then also build a table to go into that gap that goes in there. I've been brushing up on my welding skills, and I was actually quite chuffed. I didn't realize that I had enough skills to actually weld those drawers together. Those welds that you see in the center there will not be visible because of the face that goes on there, and I've actually welded them on the outside as well as the inside. All the insides will be ground more or less flat, and the doors will be carpeted inside, so thankfully you won't even see those welds. But they're certainly not going to come apart, and yeah, that is the update that I have for you today. Stand by for some more updates coming soon. I'm going to be putting out another video pretty shortly after this one. I broke my car, and I didn't think it was possible to do this. I never knew this was a problem with these cars, but I managed to do it, and I did it right here. So I'm going to actually film that little segment now, and I will post that a little while after this video, but I'll get this one out as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Give us a like if you feel that I'm adding some value, and certainly subscribe and share it. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.